Alright, Schlockmeister fans, we're gonna watch Vampires with a Y. Let's check it out. The movie starts with two ladies kissing and are about to get... And they're...
Years have gone past since then.
So this guy is named Ted. He's checking into some hotel somewhere.
I'm positive I've seen you here before. I'm afraid you're mistaken. Hey.
A few miles away, we have a couple, John and Harriet, who are staying in like a little
What's the matter?
camper somewhere.
Me, nothing.
You look worried.
They're staying outside of a castle.
I just saw a light move in one of the windows.
It's more of a gothic house than a castle, and that was a hand.
What do you mean? I saw a big hand right there.
Suddenly we see our two ladies. Their names are Fran and Muriel. Miriam, actually. Those are the two ladies we saw shot earlier in the film. They're alive again.
Impression that you're not too keen on this kind of expedition.
Those two women were picking up Ted.
Now listen here.
It actually was just Fran who
I
picked him
find you
up.
very attractive, but this stroll is becoming rather boring. Usual situations, they come on their own. Like our meeting on the road today.
There's a little love going on. The next morning he wakes up and Fran is gone. He's got a cut on his arm that apparently bled quite a lot. Ted ends up running into John and Harriet, who agree to
Thanks for your help.
help him with his arm.
With my arm in this state, I couldn't have driven very far.
You know, you ought to rest for a while.
Oh,
Fran then shows up.
Now.
Oh, I almost forgot. I'm not alone. I'm with friends. I'm sure you'll like them.
Fran takes him to bed and immediately starts sucking the wound on his arm. Ew. That's good. Meanwhile, that other guy they brought home, Rupert, well, Miriam was having her way with him. Fran's gonna join in. They take a shower together and she warns him.
It's a dangerous game. Kill him before it's too late.
She's talking about Ted.
Kill him. Kill him.
I don't know if it's the next day or what, but Fran and Miriam are wandering through the cemetery, and Harriet spots them and decides to follow. Meanwhile, Rupert's body is found on the side of the road in a car. Ted actually stumbled upon it as the police were taking him out, and a little shook by that. Then the ladies actually spot Harriet.
I always knew we'd find each other. By this sign, I'll recognize you.
Meanwhile, Ted has wandered back to the mansion, locked himself in a wine cellar by mistake.
Fran?
They're gonna let him out. They take him to bed, but Fran's more interested in the blood. In fact, they both are. Later on, Harriet goes to the big house and wanders in uninvited. And she finds the ladies sleeping downstairs. They haven't figured out how they're supposed to be vampires, which is obviously the title of our film, too.
God, it's you.
John eventually catches up with her.
I might ask you the same. What the bloody hell do you think you're doing in this house when it doesn't belong to you?
I've seen them down there. They spend their days asleep in the cellar.
Ted, who's suffering from anemia from all the lost blood, tries to get their attention. To no avail. Meanwhile, our vampire ladies are flagging down somebody else on the road.
Give us the lift. It's not far.
Yes.
Thanks.
So this new guy, whose character name on IMDb is Playboy, gets wined and dined by the two ladies.
Man, watch your stop. Look. That's never happened before.
So the guy is excited because he thinks he's going to score with two chicks. Instead, he's going to get bit. Next thing you know, his bloody, battered body's being dragged away. Meanwhile, Ted has summoned enough strength to try to get out of there. He gets out and makes it to the camper.
He looks in pretty poor shape, John. What should we do? I think we ought to get him to a hospital.
Yeah.
So John goes to the car and is immediately sliced. When Harriet comes out, she gets taken. And is killed. What about Ted? Daylight is coming.
But we can't let him get away alive. We must go now.
Hey there. Hey, listen. This is private property and shouldn't be parked here.
He's
Did
a
you read the
realtor.
notice on the road back there?
Eh? What?
Now come on, wake up. Be thankful I don't run you in. Years ago, the bodies of two young unidentified women were found. A sad story that hasn't helped selling the house. You know how superstitious people are. The murderer always returns to the scene of his crime. But the ghosts of these two poor women haunt the building.
All right. Let's talk about Vampires with a Y. This is a movie that I had on an EP tape, EP speed tape, 4 movies on a tape. I think I rented this and copied it from a video store called Vid Video in Two Rivers, Wisconsin. Long gone Vid Video. It was ran by a guy named Randy, who was this big, tall, hunched-over guy. He looked like a Neanderthal man, kind of. Like he was like the second generation of his family to ever be standing upright. That's Randy. Anyway, Vampires with a Y. See this movie, I think, maybe once before, maybe twice. It's been a long time. I didn't remember much about it. All I remember was just kind of be like lesbian vampires. That's it. However, it's interesting. These vampires, they kind of come out in the daytime, or it's not quite clear. Maybe they come out just as the sun is going down or up, because there's some pretty light scenes and they're still outside. Although at the end of the movie, it seemed like they had to get inside because it was getting light. I don't know. And they don't have fangs either. So, and it's never really stated that they are vampires. However, they sleep during the daytime and they drink and suck a lot of blood too. Now, also the interesting thing is this movie starts out with them being shot and presumably killed. That scene had nothing to do with anything the rest of the movie. I don't know who the person was who shot them or why. And how was it? Were they vampires before they were shot? Or did they become the undead? I don't know. That scene is confusing to me. If somebody knows the answer, please put it in the comments below, because I'd like to know. So anyway, and these two ladies, they basically, they love each other and show that love to each other quite often, which is nice. And then they go on the road. They basically hitchhike. They pick up young men or older men and entice them back to their big gothic house, mansion, castle thing. And they might sleep with them. They might drain their blood, kill them. But they definitely kill everybody. But Fran, the main star here, the vampire star, she kind of, I don't know if she takes a liking to this guy named Ted, but she doesn't kill him. She keeps him around for a while. She keeps draining him of blood, so he's very weak. Meanwhile, Miriam goes out and gets this guy named Rupert. Then they pick this other guy up named Playboy. Also nearby is John and Harriet. They're a couple who are staying in a camper on the countryside here, and they can see the house, and they're always kind of leery about like what's going on over there. And she sees the women here and there. At one point, she wanders into the house and finds them sleeping in the basement. John comes and gets her. What the hell are you doing? You can't wander into somebody's house like this. Of course, he had just wandered in the house too. So whatever. But anyway, at one point, Ted escapes while they're killing this Playboy guy. He ends up back at John and Harriet's camper where they're going to fix him up, take him to the hospital. But then before they can go, John gets attacked by the girls in his car and they kill him. Harriet comes out to check on him and she gets kidnapped and dragged back to the house where she is killed. And then Ted, who is outside, managed to get to a car. He couldn't really do anything, though, because he was very weak from the loss of blood. But the girls are basically like, we got to get back. We can't do anything now. It's like it was getting light out. So presumably they were vampires. The next day, Ted is alive, and he's stopped by a realtor who's trying to sell the house. And he basically says, get the hell out of here, you bum. And so Ted leaves alive. And then the movie ends with the realtor telling the prospective buyers that there's rumors about ghosts living in this house to him and that sort of thing. So that's our film, Vampires. You know what? I actually, when I was watching this film, or when I was taping the scenes for this later on, I appreciated it a little more. It's got a kind of a spooky vibe to it. It's just kind of a weird kind of, I don't know how to describe this film, but I liked it. I just liked the whole mood, the setting. It was kind of cool. Plenty of nudity in this movie to keep you going too. No, they don't skimp on it there. And again, it's just the whole concept. Are they vampires? You think they are, but they're not quite traditional vampires. They don't bite on the neck. They lick this wound, this ugly wound on this guy's arm. And of course, there's no fangs. And of course, they're always sometimes out in seemingly daylight or almost, I don't know. But anyway, that's Vampires with a Y. I think this movie's been released on Blu-ray. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll leave a link down to something. Otherwise, the DVD was out from Banker Bay. I've had this probably 20 plus years in my collection, but I haven't watched this movie since the 90s, long before I ever had it on DVD. First time watching it on DVD. So there you go. It's a pretty good flick. I'll leave a link to something. Buy it. Click that link to Amazon and buy it, and buy a whole bunch of other things. Because anytime you click that link, no matter what you buy, even if it's not where the link takes you, I get about 3 cents. Cool. Check it out. Leave some comments. Vampires. Watch it. Bye.